Uh,
So,
some people get home to eat, right?
Okay.
All right, let's, start by, recognizing that Pino's not here and we got a new guy.
we got a new guy.
go.
Nice to have it.
You know, with
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for
whatever
coming.
we use for that purpose.
One comment, this is a working session for this group. And while you guys are welcome to be here, we won't be reaching out and asking for comment.
Okay.
We are taking a list of attendees.
Yeah,
Would it be appropriate if they had questions, if they wrote them down and handed them to us?
They could go after the meeting, yeah.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to write questions down as we went along and then give them to Peter at the end, because I know I kind of have to, as I'm thinking, that would be great.
Thank you.
This is,
And with that, Bonnie,
I'm
I'll,
gonna need my notebook back when.
I said with that, I'll turn it over to you and
Okay.
you run.
There you go.
All right, so, tonight is our work session for the RFP. Request for proposal for the facility at the transfer station. We invited Craig Moore to come, our Public Works Director, as our guest and help us with this process. Thank you so much. You have that. Thank you. I need my notebook. Wanted to go over just a little bit briefly, the transfer station operations, and you can help me with this. How many of you have been to the transfer station?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you spent any time like kind of looking around and seeing how it all worked?
I had the tour from Shelley.
Oh, excellent. And the balers, and did you
Yes.
look out behind and
Yeah.
see the material? Okay,
Yep.
all right. I've seen probably most of the transfer stations in the state and beyond, and this is a really well organized facility.
Just
We should
recently
be,
though, Shelley's really done the
yeah,
job.
she's taken something and just built on it.
Yeah.
And I was there when she first got there and she started talking to people about mandatory recycling. Well, she didn't back down. And she talked to people and explained to people, this is why we're doing it, this is what we're doing, and it's obviously made a big difference because the tonnages have gone up. We pulled material out. Every time you pull it out, you're saving, you know, what you have to pay to get rid of that material. Certainly you're saving resources. So I think we should be really pleased with the operation we have. Seems like the biggest nut is what to do with the waste once the contract is up. And maybe processing the construction debris, which is a shame to have wood products being landfilled and not being processed in some way. The good news is the contract for the MSW through the Pemmy Baker Solid Waste District going up to Casella to the Bethlehem landfill is not up until April of 2027. So we don't have to work on that as part of our RFP tonight. That will be down the road, and I'm fairly confident that the Pemmy Baker Solid Waste District will be doing that in total for all of the 19 towns. And Craig mentioned that the town can choose what they pick for the winner of the bid.
But we don't have to specifically go
With say Casella or Waste Management or whatever.
So they will
So-
put out a bid.
Yep.
And they'll be, assuming they're
the
multiple
district.
bidders.
Well, what happens, the district will vote on whatever they decide, and probably the lowest person. And they'll give the district a contract, and we can decide whether to go with that contract or they go to Waste Management, because we like them better.
So what is the district then? Is it part of the whole?
19 towns, so theoretically, they're gonna give you a better deal with 19 towns.
Right.
Whether we did,
But you can go rogue and not go with it?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, and some towns have done that for a
Yep.
year contract or 3-year contract.
yeah, it's all
but-
about the hauling, so we get a contract, say for 70 some odd dollars a ton. But it's the fee that haul, so like Danbury, it's closer for them it's less to haul that material to Waste Management. So we pay $330 for every load that goes out of there, on top of the $70 per ton that we pay to dispose of. So the flat rates right now is, and that's static, that move, that goes up and down every year. We don't have a control over what they charge us for the haul fees.
Is it once
So-
a year they adjust it?
Oh, every,
Or?
oh yeah, once a year. Yeah. So right now we're paying $330 per load that goes out of there plus $77 a ton to get
So
rid of it.
what's that total cost per year?
Well, it's gonna be somewhere around 120,000 this year, maybe 125. It's different. I don't ever know how much construction debris comes in. But don't forget, half of what gets sent out, like my construction debris, what do I do? 600, 500 tons,
600.
600 tons of construction debris alone. But that's all
It's in
paid
there.
for by the users, so that's revenue.
Yes.
So it's kind of misleading. We budget for the whole amount, but we do get revenue on top of that to offset it.
So the cost is 125.
Well, it could be,
minus-
I don't
Okay,
know.
roughly.
Roughly, let's just say roughly this year it'll be 125,000.
And yet,
Maybe a little bit more.
okay, but using the numbers you threw out, just
Yeah.
for conversation's sake, just so I understand. It costs us 125 to ship it out.
Yeah.
But you take in 50, 60K
For the
by the
construction
user.
debris.
by the- Okay,
Yeah, and that's just, the MSW is
Yeah.
paid for by the town, so municipal solid waste.
Yeah.
The town picks up that portion of it. On the construction debris, which is lately has been more with all the building that's going on and
Yeah.
people cleaning out stuff, that's paid for by whoever goes over the scales.
Yep.
So we actually make a penny on that.
So the,
so the
Yep.
net to the town, sorry, Bonnie.
Yep.
Is 70K, 75K.
Something like
Okay.
that, depends on.
Yeah.
Yep. And it is kind of off, I mean, if, this year I bet we made out because there wasn't a lot of rain. So when we weigh our goods, they come over the scale and it rains all week, all day,
It's wet.
it gets wet, and then they weigh it.
you pay,
So we kind of came out of it, but this year probably we made out. So that's why it's up and down so much, you never know the tonnage, I do. Unless we had a cover over our construction agreement, we don't.
which would be great. Yeah.
Right, we could cover
Well,
it.
the same thing goes for the user of that service. I mean, they bring their stuff in dry.
Sometimes, like if you do a
Sometimes, yeah.
demo of the house, it's dry and they bring it, and then all of a sudden all week, if we only get shipment once a week. And then it
It's
rains.
good thought, though. I gotta start thinking about when to bring my debris.
Yeah, rain, make sure.
Go on a rainy day.
Oh, it's.
No, actually, let it sit out there for.
Yeah, so
But
that,
yeah, so that's all things you gotta consider when.
yeah, it's not just a straight, so the operating budget for the year is, my grandson loved these. I keep looking at, it, I'm like, what? So the operating budget for the year is 256,000. Already year to date, mid-October, 83,000 has come back to offset that. And that's the construction debris fees, that's the sale of recyclables, which markets are really kind of awful, so not a lot there.
Did you say?
This was as of the 15th of October, 83,000.
Okay.
So the breakdown of that is disposal fees, which is, it's not just the construction debris, it's what you pay to get rid of your tires, your electronics, all of that other stuff.
Is that also like the metal?
The metal they get paid for, but,
No, I have that report. too.
oh, like refrigerators and that sort of thing, because the refrigerant has to be taken out of those and that's a charge, so that part of the metal, yes.
So we charge for. Refrigerators and microwaves, so that pays for the,
And ACs and.
Mattress.
yeah, and then
Yeah,
then that's a
mattress, the-
small. We put it in the metal pile, then you get revenue for that too as well, so.
I tried to donate a monitor the other day and they wouldn't take.
They will
I was
take
surprised-
They
I
have
was
to
surprised.
pay to get rid of
For
it.
fee.
Yeah,
Yeah.
costs about 17 cents a pound to get rid of, so, yeah.
No, you know how they have that donation section?
Yeah.
I thought I was doing a good thing. I walked
Yeah.
into the monitor and she started yelling at me.
Cause they think people are throwing ones that are broken in there,
Yeah, darn.
and then nobody will take it, and we end up throwing it away.
So back to that 82,000, that's revenues, which is one of the few places in town that actually bring money in. 66,000 was the total disposal fees, the revenues from recycle was 13,000. And then the sale of stickers, the resident stickers, about 3,500. So there's some offsetting things here, in
Is
the system we
everyone-
have now.
Is everyone buying stickers now for well?
Well,
They,
Shelley's doing a good job.
they monitor.
If you
that
don't
pretty
have it,
strictly. They're
get
strict.
one.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
if your stickers expired, she's like,
Yeah, because we don't want out of town people coming in and dumping, obviously. So that's what that's
Can
all
they buy
about.
a sticker?
Mhm.
Who's that?
You
Out
have to
of town
prove,
people?
nope,
No,
you have to prove residency. Or if a business is working in town, say they're taking shingles off a roof.
Yeah.
But they're from out of town, they have to go to the town office and get
Yeah,
a
we'll let them-
pass.
Like, we'll ask to see their building permit, say.
verify that it's
To
a
verify
project
that they're
within
doing
the
work on whatever street.
so this revenue goes to what date, 10 something?
That was 10/15.
It's in that report. I
Okay,
think.
all right, thank you.
And that goes back to the general fund in total
It's offsetting revenue against this budget,
against that operating budget or against the whole budget.
against the whole budget.
Whole budget, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's counted for. It's just, it's a good thing to remember that that's there. That's all I really wanted to cover as far as the transfer station, unless somebody has questions.
Would you have anything on
Thanks,
the
Steve.
overall cost? I mean, that's the material cost, but there's a whole bunch of other things that
Well, the
go into it.
256,000
That's the
is
total.
total, and that covers salaries and benefits,
Benefits and everything.
which is a lot of the towns don't put it all under one umbrella, and it's kind of frustrating when you try to look at it. But
Okay.
that is for the transfer station, and then those.
The salaries and
offset.
materials and.
Includes the,
Yeah,
includes the
Garbage
billing, but doesn't include
disposal.
the offset.
yeah, all of it.
Doesn't include the offset, does it?
No, that
Because
does
that's
not.
revenue.
Okay.
That'd
so
be in the
it
revenue report.
Reduces the 258
Yeah.
by
Debits.
80,000 or whatever. it is.
Yep. Yep, and that'll increase as
Yeah.
sale of recyclables or, obviously construction debris. You always see spring and fall. We are such creatures of habit. Spring cleaning, fall cleaning, the construction debris, you could probably scrap it every year. Up it goes, so, you
Too
know.
cold
Well, be a
in the winter.
tourist town,
Hmm,
tourist towns too.
Yeah.
They clean out.
people come in before, yeah, good point. Okay. So then we're off to why we're here. We started out, Frank, thank you for that beginning RFP draft. That was gold. It was a place to start. I have samples of 3 other RFPs from other towns to just get the legal verbiage that we can speak at. Because you need to have those certain sentences that, don't have to accept all bids or any bids or whatever. And that has to be correct, and obviously this will go before legal anyway. So we've got some examples there to look at, and then Charlie has worked on what I was working on and presented before you our first draft. Right?
First draft.
Yeah. And our whole idea is to seek a low cost to zero cost solution for disposal and transportation of MSW, municipal solid waste, C&D, construction and demolition debris, and recyclables with a 0 to low market value. And that's gonna be something to look at. Right now, plastics, there was a cost to move a load of plastic, is that correct?
This time there's a
This time,
cost,
because the
actually.
markets are not very good.
To move what, sorry?
The plastics,
Even your
your-
detergent bottles and
Yeah.
stuff?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it used to be we made money on it, but now it's so low that because of the trucking, you have to pay for. It's
yeah. the-
negative now.
Yeah, the demand is down, and he's working through New Hampshire Recycles, which you went on the bus tour with.
I did.
And they've got markets all throughout, and we don't export anything. Canada is the furthest we would go, or they would go work there anymore. So it would give another option for that material if it was in a downtrend as far as the value goes. And that, I think, would be right up front with people. We're bringing it here, we're asking you to still separate it, but it may go into this process as long as the market value is low. I think there's a lot of communities that don't do that up front. And that's dishonest to me. You gotta do the work, explain what's happening to that material.
That's good to know because You know, here I'm throwing my clear plastic.
And we want you to, and we want you to, or I want you to. It has great value.
But you're saying the value is up and down.
Right, it costs about $2,000 to get a truckload of material out
Yes,
of
it's
any
shipping up.
community.
Where's that to go?
And then the
Aunt Bonnie
value,
could tell you where the market is.
did they tell you where
He
yours
didn't
is
tell me
going?
this time.
It could have been going into New York, it could have been going to Michigan, which is one of the bigger ones.
So.
It's for the demand, when they have a demand
Did
for
we
that
do that
material.
because it's an environmental?
But it would be cheaper to throw it away.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
at some point
Yeah.
you lose the environmental benefit, don't you?
Right.
Right, there's that, and we would
Yeah, I
figure
mean,
that
you
out,
gotta,
we would look at it.
this time it cost me to bail it, you know, it cost me to handle it.
Yeah.
So if we had that other plant down there you're talking about, then it could just go,
Yeah.
whatever
Until the
makes more
markets are
money at
better.
the time,
Yeah.
we decide.
Right.
But trucking is very expensive nowadays.
Yeah.
Mhm. And getting people to truck, it's always on a backhaul,
Yeah.
so don't think too much about the whole greenhouse thing. So if a truck is coming from Michigan, they're coming to New England with product, they wanna go back to Michigan full.
Yeah, they don't want a deadhead.
So they
Yeah.
put, yeah,
They don't want that.
exactly,
Yeah.
They get paid by the loaded mile.
right, so they wanna go
That
back.
goes,
That
you
makes it
put it
work.
out there and somebody says, oh, I'll take that load back.
Yeah, there's like a board,
You know,
yeah,
somebody bids on it, or whatever they do.
yeah.
So it's hard to, it takes a while sometimes to
It
get it.
does,
This
it's a
spent about 3
challenge.
months trying to get this load out.
Gambling with our trash.
Logistics.
But no,
That-
but it always hasn't
With-
been that bad, like,
Well, you throw
In the
it out
past,
there,
it's been
and it's
nicer.
better. Take it.
Life's
That's-
negotiation.
Yeah, there you go.
And
and I
it's-
think we have a better time getting rid of our stuff than most because it's very clean.
Yes,
There's not much
Yes.
contamination in our
Yeah,
bales.
yes.
So we have a,
because they.
Bonnie can tell you, our bales are pretty clean and other people.
So why would that be? Why
Because
would-
Charlie,
Well, we pick it out.
Yeah.
And-
People
and
throw
we do
things
well.
away in the wrong bins.
We're
and we-
educated well.
We take it out and put it in the right bin. We have these pickers and
I've seen her.
How
wear-
do they, I wondered, how do they know if a bale is contaminated?
well, it'll have different, like say if it's all milk jugs, it'll have
Oh,
something
right,
else,
right,
have some
right.
bottles in it.
Yeah,
you don't see him.
And
and
they
there's
can see it
pictures.
when they get there and they don't like that at all, do they?
Oh, it's bad, it's bad. You
So
have to send pictures to the vendor, to the
we have
brokers,
to actually send.
and they bid on it.
photos Of our
Wow.
bales.
everything.
That's
And you build a
amazing.
reputation too.
Yeah.
I mean, they know up in Claremont at the paper mill, they know that Ashland's material is good material.
Yeah.
Because they've seen it before, so they're willing to, you know, pay a little extra for it,
Well,
or
I've
pay the
I've
market
seen
price.
them there. Actually, there've been 2 women there, Shelley and another woman.
Yeah.
lately.
Jackie
Yeah.
is,
The
Young- a
lady,
younger
yeah.
woman, right?
Yay for the women.
yeah,
Yeah.
and,
Handling it all,
They're
And-
doing
and-
a great job too.
yeah,
yeah.
and good rapport with the residents, which,
Right, yeah.
oh, it's just amazing. And they love the swap shop in general, everybody loves the swap shop. Anyway,
That
we
was
could talk
Shelley's
about,
thought.
yeah.
We'll turn our mill into a flea market.
There you go.
Right? One man's It's trash big in is Florida.
Yeah, well, look at Restore and Flip Furniture and all of these
Got the
places.
derangement coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody bring your umbrella.
Sorry, I didn't mean to get you off this trash.
Oh, no, this is
That's what you're
great stuff.
thinking, I like that.
Just great stuff. And it looks like you had added the whole idea of this process is reducing the methane greenhouse gases. You have a landfill, it's gonna be spewing off methane, no matter how big or small that landfill is. We think ours is about 4 acres or so.
Or something before.
Yeah, but that's this process that's one of their big.
And you could go up on our landfill right now and stand next to one of those vents and,
You can smell it.
oh yeah,
You light a match,
Really?
what happens?
you probably don't want to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll do it.
But it is being monitored.
Yes, and that's
That's the other
the
concern.
water, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
not
it's
the air.
starting to migrate towards
I mean,
the stream down there.
So basically, that's a liability for the town. If there was a process that could get rid of that liability forever, that would be
Yeah, consume that.
fantastic.
Wow.
The only, I think I mentioned it before, but Molten Boro's the only one in the state that actually mined their landfill, maybe 20 years
But how would you
ago
do that?
now.
The town would have to pay for that, right?
Well, that would be part of the,
Eventually, we're gonna have to pay to get rid of all of it, because it's starting to leach, not in 10 years, 15, maybe
Yeah.
20, 25 years.
Yeah.
It might get to the point where it's starting to leach
It's not lying.
too much and they wanna us to mitigate it.
Yeah.
And the state looks at that report. We have to send a report to the state every year.
Who does something like that?
Who mines it?
Yeah.
I don't know even
Uh,
know. I don't,
Engineering
How do you get into
firms?
that business?
they will take the metal out because our line fill's probably got metal in it.
Everything.
Everything's
a
in
lot
there.
of cover, a lot of
And they'll just,
cover, sand, whatever was used
I
to
can't
cover
tell
it.
you what that process looks like. What did they do in Moltboro? Did they burn it? Did they?
Oh, no, it was all sifted out, the metal was
Yeah.
out with magnets, and then,
Then what did they do with it?
In New York,
don't
they
know.
barge
I
it
don't know
out to
enough.
sea, dump it,
Oh,
okay?
Right.
Mhm.
I don't know if you're aware of it, there's a borough of, New York called Staten Island.
Yeah.
Okay, Staten Island was the dumping ground for New York City for more than a century. 20% of Staten Island is landfill,
I was just gonna say how much of New York City is,
and it's enormous.
Fill.
And about 20 years ago, they started mining it,
oh, I didn't know that.
separating it, as you pointed out, and sending it out to sea and.
Oh, that's
dumping
not
it.
exciting.
oh, that's
No.
not good.
You try to recover as much as
Well,
you
you
can.
know, cause they had the same, nobody would allow it to be burned. There was no place to, other than that, to take it at any kind of reasonable cost, so they put it in barges, send it out to sea, open the bottom
Are
of
they
the barge,
still
it's done.
doing?
Last I saw it, it was still going on, much of it is complete by now. So I think it's scaled back, but I mean, they had huge processing facilities that were doing this for decades.
so you think about tonnage too, you know?
Out in Michigan. Boyne ski area is a landfill.
In
They made
Virginia,
a
though.
mountain
Yeah.
out of trash, and it's now a ski resort.
Yeah, it's not the only one, I've heard that
Yeah,
before.
I've heard, yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Anyway, that is the crux of the problem, it's hard to make it go away.
That would be great if that were part of our solution.
Like dumping it in the ocean or making.
No,
it
no,
stop.
Make it go away.
mining the landfill and making that.
Making it
facility
go
go away.
away is.
If only we lived closer to the ocean.
And then we'd have that land to use as well, you know,
Yeah.
you'd have that acreage.
Yeah.
So,
What we can, but if it hold, but
Yeah. True. good
Well, it was
point.
big hole to begin with, that's why they started dumping it from that, right?
well, it was mined out to build 93. That's why the hole was there. They took all the sand out of that.
Oh,
Oh, so the state
It was
owes
a-
us?
Yeah, so that was a pit that they put in. That's what I was told. That's why there
That
was a
makes
hole there.
sense.
Our landfill was a pit?
Yeah, they built 93 with the sand that came out of that. Some of, in this area at least.
It was right there, right?
Yeah,
That's why there was a hole there and we decided to put trash in it.
they did that up in Lincoln, Pollard Road,
That's what I
Mansion
heard.
Hill. They had an old airport there, that, a lot of that material they mined off with the, interstate in, up into the notch.
Hmm. Interesting.
Boney's Pit, which is now Loon Mountain's 681 million gallon pond to
Like a
make snow
holding-
with. A lot of that material went on the interstate,
Oh,
made the big hole.
all right, so big skating pond.
Oh, don't worry, you can fill it up again.
Yeah, we'll figure that out. Hmm. All right, how about we look at this request for proposal? Do you wanna make notes?
Well, we introduced it a little bit.
Okay, all right, we're ready.
One, just, I want to acknowledge that I looked at a bunch of formats.
Oh, we didn't address this. Was there,
Yeah,
No,
no,
you
you
wanna-
did,
that was
you did, you
this was
covered it.
for,
Yeah,
okay,
you covered the expenses.
good, I
and
like the
and
up to date.
revenue.
Sweet.
I looked at a couple of formats on how I thought best to proceed, and quite frankly, I liked the format that Frank Garcia submitted to the committee.
I did as well.
And so that's the one I went to work on. Now, I made a lot, you know, a lot of modifications to it, but not really that substantive, except for being clear that the idea is to focus on a very aggressive negotiation to achieve a zero or close to zero cost for and I'm calling it eliminating, an elimination process, a process to eliminate waste. And I didn't even want to get into talking about facilities or, you know, how this is gonna transpire, because I don't think we really know. And, you know, so, it's very open-ended, it's generic, you know, it doesn't offer any concession to, you know, any particular vendor that we know versus one that we don't. And my first note on it is that I'm concerned about the numbers here. I use them as Frank submitted them. I believe they have to be reviewed. For example, you know, we're learning it's not $300,000 a year total, it's more like 200. Okay?
Yep.
Now, that may go up in the future, but, you know, so I think that has to be an adjustment. Also, the table, which appears on the top of page 2, is printed both sides. This, you know, is gonna have Craig look at this because, he might have better information on the tonnage numbers here.
These are all correct. These
They're
are
correct.
from the report you do for the state every year.
Yep.
They're on, it's called New Hampshire, the DES One Stop.
Mhm.
And so those are all of these are updated. We don't have like the glass ones, but you might not have moved glass in 23. So there's
may
some
not have in
things that we don't have that information for, but these are accurate.
Well,
Or
we're,
adjusted.
we're projecting 3% year over year.
Yep.
So that's an estimate.
Mhm.
Okay.
That
But
part,
we're,
yeah.
we're confident in the preceding, the 2024 figures and the preceding figures.
Correct. Yep.
Okay, well, that's important because that, you know, had no clue how close we were there. And again, we can go this, and, you know, we need to go over it section at a time, but I want just keep it a more open-ended process than what I think some of our discussions have been. This is a negotiation. It's really more than an RFP. Because we're stipulating extreme conditions. Right? The type of response we're going to get is going to be closer to what it takes, you know, when NASA first put a man on the moon. You know, references were hard to come by. All right, and you know, site visits and things, you know, that because it's a first. Now, I hope this is not the first, but at the same time, you know, we have to be aware that there is going to be a process here that we're going to have to engage in actively to make it come to fruition, if in fact it does come to fruition. All right, you know, this may go out and we may find at the end of the day, there's no takers or there are no qualified takers.
Or we only have one.
And we, you know, we will be left with assessing whether that's a qualified proposal, right? Because, I mean, it's going to take that, and that's why I'm glad Craig's here tonight, Ron, because I think it's a process that, you know, we have to actively be engaged in. If, in fact, somebody proposes to meet these requirements. Okay? And we can't take any of that for granted, because we are going to be doing things, you know, maybe they've been done before, maybe they haven't been done exactly the way we're gonna have them done. And it's, et cetera. That's the type of thing this is. Now, you know, we kick this around and people were saying, well, you know, we have to have something, you know, we're sure, we're more reliable. Well, okay, but how much are we willing to pay in addition for that luxury? That's really the essence of this. Now, if this all falls down, guess what? We go to Craig and Ron and say, hey, Ron, you know, find us where we have to truck this stuff and what the cost is, and
Well, we've got the
and I guess I'm gonna pay
district,
it.
which is
Yeah.
really good to have.
And okay, but really, I mean, they'll be helpful, but there'll be a cost
So we have
associated.
a plan, that means we have a plan B.
Well,
We always need.
And
you
there's
know, there's a plan B.
yes, you need a plan B when you realize plan A isn't gonna happen.
Right, right,
Okay.
yes,
And-
because the trash isn't going.
So
That's right.
can I just jump in here real quick? Because the conversation I feel is leaning one way, okay? And, if we're throwing out an RFP and Waste Management comes back and says, we can do all this for nothing. Okay, well, they're in the game,
Well, you won't,
right?
you
What?
won't, I can guarantee that.
Well, I guess my point is,
Don't wanna presuppose.
this should be open to everybody, right? We don't wanna suggest that only you and you and you can play, right?
And that's part of what the rewrite was about. Two goals, make it zero and make it generic without favoring anybody that we may have talked to or interacted with. You know, we're treating everybody at arm's length, and it's an objective assessment of can you meet these terms and what is your best offer?
I'm buying windows for my house right now. I can buy the windows for $800 and then pay $200 to have somebody install. I had somebody come to my house today and say $28,000, $2,800 a window.
Wow.
Completely out of line. You know,
Mhm.
you throw that guy out.
Yes.
I mean, it's you know,
And
what's the environmental impact? What's the cost, and can you solve the problem?
But we do have to have some way of qualifying the vendor that they have the background, the credentials, the track record of being able
That's
to
all
deliver.
part of the vetting process.
So, I
right?
mean, we have to write out, we have to.
I don't think that
state-
goes in the RFP.
there's,
That doesn't-
it is, and that's a really
The
important
RFP,
point.
the vetting, any RFP that I've put together or been involved in, there is a vetting process, so they know. It
Yeah, I
doesn't have to
mean,
be detailed.
it's every RFP process I've been involved in, it's the screening to get to your candidates. You know, you say, can you do A, B, and C? Yes, I can do A, B, and C.
This is
Once-
government.
once you
I
have-
mean, I'm saying that the government ones that and maybe you've done more others. But the RFP process, the RFPs that I've been involved in, and I've been involved in a lot. In the RFP, the selection process is defined. And being a request for proposal doesn't mean you have to just look at the money and stuff, because a proposal means you're going to be getting different proposals, doing things slightly different. So we're not just buying, number 2 lumber or something. We're buying a
solution.
system. So they're not all the same. So it's a proposal.
But here, let me show you the differentiator here that I think has been missed. We're not buying anything. That's what makes this different.
But where it's
Yeah,
but
We're not buying anything so that, yes, we don't wanna go down the road of a fool, who's
Right.
certainly not qualified. But we don't have the entitlement in this, if somebody does come back and offer zero cost and they say we're paying for everything, that really limits how much involvement we have in the details. As long as we're indemnified, we're paying zero, and, of course, the obvious EPA, the DES, and the permitting and everybody involved, including the fire department, are gonna sign off on it. It doesn't give us a whole lot of latitude to pry into their business, and that's.
But we can
considerable.
we could put in an RFP requiring them as part of the packet to include their business license, their insurance, and all this other stuff.
That's in here, the insurance,
Business
that's an
license,
important
so-
point.
Yeah.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah,
you know,
certificate of insurance.
you-
So you could do a peer review, have an engineer review all the proposals
Mhm.
for qualifications.
And that's where the process really is. When
Yeah.
you get your proposals, they have the responsibility to be detailed, and it's still in here, the way Frank expressed it, that you gotta tell us, what you're coming here to do, and
Right.
how you're gonna do it, draw us a picture, that's all still in here. I mean, that's good material. The change is, we're gonna just require the overview, the insurance, the permitting, et cetera. We're not gonna sit there and analyze every step they take, because it's really not something we're paying for. So if they make a mistake, for example, there's no additional cost to us. So
Yeah.
it limits the due diligence on our part to some of these technical details.
Still kind of need a peer review though, through the process, just,
You-
once you select a vendor, you should have a peer review process so that even though it's a zero cost, you're still gonna be covered because we may not know what we're looking at, that could be wrong.
Yeah, agree.
Whereas you have a qualified engineer or something,
But again,
and a peer review can be,
Ron, that's,
Not very
that's
expensive.
the town manager and the director of, public works' domain.
well, just,
And
So we
you're
talked about it.
highlighting a really important point here, okay? I think some people got the feeling that we're looking to bring some people in here, blind, to whatever they're
Right,
doing.
yeah.
No, that is
Yeah.
not at all the intent here. Matter of fact, the two guys at this table, and I'm glad you're here, are unfortunately going to have a heavy lift in making sure what happens conforms to our expectations,
right,
okay?
Well-
And their promises.
and if I might, I don't see the RFP process as being the decision process.
No.
I see it as a screening process.
right. It's a request for a proposal, then you have someone review all their proposals,
And that's a
and the
different
committee
step.
looks at the proposals.
That's right, that's a different step.
But then,
Right.
okay, then a selection is made on the proposal, and the selection has to be based on the criteria that's laid out in the proposal of what you're gonna make the selection on.
So I don't necessarily think that's the case. I think we get the responses. We whittle it down to our top 2 or 3 applicants. And we talk to them.
But this isn't the sort of thing we can put to waste management, because they don't have this process.
Whatever their
Yeah.
process
Yeah.
is, they can submit whatever their
But
process
we're
is.
Yeah,
being
yeah.
very specific about.
If somebody
syntax.
shows up with a fire-eating dragon who can evaporate our waste,
Mm.
I'm good with it. They're not gonna charge us, I'm good. So,
But
this
we're
is,
being very
this is-
specific in our
Well, we should
honesty.
be.
no, we're not. That's the point. We don't wanna be specific. They're
Right.
gonna eliminate the waste.
Yeah.
I don't,
How are you gonna do it? Just let us know how you're gonna do it, and
yeah,
is it gonna cost us 0 or
that's right.
300,000 a year?
Bonnie, exactly. That's exactly
Okay,
where we
okay.
want this to go,
I
okay?
also want in there, though, the impact pluses or minuses to the community. If when this, when, if when they're fully built out, how many trucks in and out do they think they'll have? When will they, what time of day, what days of the week? I want,
That's in the proposal, not in the RFP, because we don't know their process. When they make the proposal and they say, we're going to bring in, and I don't know what they're gonna say, but we're gonna bring in trucks to fill out the capacity of our, whatever we're doing, then they're gonna tell us, and this is our expectation, we need this much weight, and that translates to so many trucks. So, but that, that makes the
That's
RFP
too
way
good to
too
be
tenuous. Yeah, we don't even know if trucks are involved at this point, and I wanna emphasize that. It's an open-ended attempt, an open-ended negotiation to get the minimal cost and allow the town to benefit from this process, okay? As opposed to the alternative, where we're gonna probably be paying more in the near future, okay? So that is where the vision, the review of this draft that I did differentiates from the original that Frank submitted. Now, all the parts that Frank submitted, I think are really important. They, will be kept and used to analyze the proposals. Because, he's got bullet points on, we need to consider this and that and this and that, and he's right, okay? So when we evaluate those proposals, they need to be on point, but not the proposal itself. I'd like this committee to create a proposal that lets vendors be creative. Because this is a creative process. And for those of us who've been involved in this over time, we realize that we're putting together something that has a high potential benefit, but yet it's something that hasn't been done, at least not nearby and recently. Okay, so we're extending the envelope in this, but that's how you save money. That's what an aggressive negotiation tries to achieve. And at the end of the day, it doesn't work. We're no worse off than we are sitting here today with the normal procedures that we'll have to follow.
Can I summarize?
Please.
This, for my simple little mind, okay? We wanna solve our trash problem in an environmentally sound way while being responsible with the town's money.
Minimize the cost, literally minimize the cost. And those of us who've been, participating on this committee and people watching have known that we have engaged in discussions with credible people.
Right.
Who have indicated that they can work with us in a way that minimizes our cost and potentially down to zero. Okay,
But beyond that, we don't care. Beyond that, it's a black box to us.
that's
Right.
right. That's right. It's a black box. And we don't need to be in the weeds because we're not going to be penalized by, anything that happens other than, safety and insurance issues and et cetera, permitting. If, one of the, they install something and it breaks, well, okay, that's, nothing we have to be concerned about. They're gonna have to, they're gonna have to make good on. And that's the way the proposal needs to be written, that the town is not gonna be responsible for most of the costs. Now, there's one that is undefined, and I don't know where it goes, but we have labor down at the recycle center. And I think that labor is, they're gonna, whoever does something, assuming they do something here, and it's not a fire breathing dragon, they're going to need labor. So that's all part of what I think we might see in a proposal, but I think this document says, you can request from the town facilities and land, for example, or whatever you need to make this zero cost waste elimination happen. So all that stuff is on the table, and again, we're not dealing with it specifically here. And as I want to be careful about that, because that'll allow the people responding to be creative and tell us how best to do that. Okay. All right, now, Mr. Chairman, I don't, the goal, if today is a perfect day, we will come to an agreement on a RFP that we could send to the select board. I don't, I'll let you determine if that's where we are. But this is a working session. So far, we've had a nice general discussion and we've kind of brought everybody up to speed. But it would be my request to turn this now into review of my draft or anybody else's draft that
Yeah, let's do it.
they want to put on the table. And let's see, how close we are and what the changes need to be and see if we can get something out.
Yeah, walk us through it.
All right, we'll go through the sections. Now, I want to apologize in advance. I threw this together in about an hour and a half, okay? Because that's my time allotment.
Based
So,
on one that was much longer.
so that was, there's some awkward wording or whatnot, forgive me. But we'll go through it. The project purpose.
Can we start with the title?
Okay, yes, if you,
So
Town of
town-
Ashland Waste Management and Elimination.
And elimination. That's
Okay.
kind of an odd word, though, I'm afraid.
What
Can
would
we
you-
just stay with waste management? Processing?
Again, waste management kind of boxes it in a little bit.
What's the industry standard? I mean, you're looking at doing it a different way, whatever, but it's still waste management.
No, it's a proposal is waste elimination. It's not waste management, okay? Now, waste management may become part of it. I don't even know how that happens at this point. I'm hoping that the people who propose this will tell us. Okay, that's why I'm reluctant to just focus on the idea of waste management. The benefit to the town is waste elimination. That's the bottom line. The process to get there, now tell us about management and whatever you need to do. Okay, again, I don't want to get, it kind of gets nitpicky to me, but I think, I want to be clear on what the focus.
Let's leave it for now and we can review it if we need to.
Okay, project purpose, and if you guys, everybody has a copy, right? So, don't make me kind of, I'll read this to you if you want, but I think you
I
guys.
think we need to go through each.
Yeah, okay, so do everybody want to read it quietly? You want me to read it to you?
Read it.
Okay.
Oh.
Bonnie, why don't you read it?
Want me to read
I
it?
heard you
Yeah.
said
Yeah,
honey.
yeah, you read it, yes.
Fine.
Call it Charlie, buddy.
I think I would add back to the
Well, you
project
got me
title.
excited.
And back to the project title, at least solid waste management. I mean, waste could be anything. Waste could be,
Solid waste
You know,
management, because it's a thing.
because that's the
That's
the terminology,
Okay, you like solid waste?
solid waste.
Okay, I like that.
And elimination, we can
Solid
talk
waste
about.
mitigation.
Now,
Eliminate it, because we're gonna have ash. We're gonna have, it's only gonna be 90%.
where's the ash going?
Well, that's part of that.
It's all gotta go. Yeah, we want it to all go. But, you know, the fire breathing dragon scenario, you know, it evaporates.
Okay. The project purpose, the town of Ashland is soliciting proposals to process and or remove its municipal waste. To me, that just says the MSW, the municipal solid waste. It doesn't say the construction debris. So that first sentence,
Read the second sentence. It gets- I think it
specifically,
gets you there.
the solicitation is to eliminate the municipal solid waste, MSW, and construction waste, C and D. C and D is, yeah, I probably wanna spell that out as construction debris and demolition and
Yeah,
debris.
there should be a definition up front. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so back to specifically, the solicitation is to eliminate the municipal solid waste, MSW, and the construction and demolition debris, C and D, produced by the town of Ashland, New Hampshire. That's correct, right? It's only the town. Ashland is located in the geographic center of New Hampshire. It has approximately 2,200 residents. Where did 2,200 come?
Frank Garcia, I took it right off him. I don't know
alright.
that that's the number.
Census is 19.
Yeah, cause I think it's less than 2,000.
1984.
Is that,
I
that really?
get 1954
Number.
off of
No,
2020
Whatever.
census.
yeah, it's closer. I think I get it off of.
The set, you know, there's an undercount in that sentence, you know, the census data, is that considered? Cause I've had a lot
Oh,
of
no.
people, yeah, I've had a lot of people tell me that 1980 number is like, you know, that there's a lot of people in hiding or whatever. That didn't.
Well, it's like that everywhere, so.
Yeah.
So it's not gonna.
All right, so
Whatever.
1954. The town is a transfer and recycling center, and we've got to get clear on what we're gonna be calling it. Online, it's called the Transfer Station and Recycling Center, I believe.
Okay,
So transfer station,
Station,
transfer station, okay.
that collects, recycles and disposes all MSW and construction waste,
D&D.
C and D, we can just do the C and D.
Okay.
Generated within the town boundaries. We've already said that up there. Do we need to repeat that?
Probably not.
What are you saying? It's repeated from the first line?
Yeah, produced by the
First
town of
paragraph.
Ashland.
Okay.
Um, I don't know.
We can just get rid of that, so because we've got produced by the town of Ashland, so we're gonna, well, whatever. Besides.
Well, okay, you know.
We can leave what we've got.
Okay.
Currently, all collected MSW and C and D are removed to a landfill. Disposal of the MSW and C and D at a landfill costs the town approximately do we need to put that? Do we need to tell them what it costs us?
We need to tell them what it cost us.
I don't see why they would even need to know.
You know, you raise a really valid point.
why wouldn't they need to know?
But why do they
do they-
care? It's got nothing to do with anything.
It's a lot to do with taxes.
Yeah, but that's not their
But for
concern.
the
Their
vendor.
concern is
it
to
is-
be.
it is the vendor.
Although it does inform the vendor as to the scale of what they're getting involved in.
Well, that'd be in the next page, how much tonnage and all that.
But that also might give them a sticking point on saying $300,000, that's what we're gonna
Yeah.
go for.
Yes, you're right.
I think
It tips them off to, you know,
The
what they have
savings.
to do. Okay,
Savings,
I
yeah.
agree with you.
Are we
Martha.
gonna take out that whole sentence?
Yeah, we just put, you know, put something generic, like, you know, the landfill, you know, there are significant.
Just go to the
landfills-
next sentence.
Significant landfill costs that are incurred by the town.
Just go to the next sentence.
What
Future
is that?
costs are anticipated to rise.
And the future costs are anticipated to rise. Yeah. Okay, yeah, these,
I'm not sure.
Just
I'm
strike
thinking
that
we
whole,
just strike that whole
strike
sentence.
strike that whole sentence.
Which
The disposal.
disposal, okay.
okay, you can do.
So that leaves us with the future costs are anticipated to rise perhaps substantially as landfills reach as.
Encounter increasing restrictions for expansion. Yeah, I don't, that's kind of
Yep.
open-ended.
It explains why we're here.
Mm,
As such, the town is interested in evaluating processes and proposals that will manage waste.
Elimination.
I'm still struggling with elimination, Charlie, you can
Okay,
tell.
I know I have to help you there.
And reduce the associated cost to zero or as close to zero as possible.
Solid waste, manage solid waste elimination. If
Mm.
if we're gonna start with solid waste. we
Well,
wanna
you know,
keep it-
it
Thank
should be done,
Yes,
Yeah, solid waste.
you should
Yeah.
put those definitions in the front, so in other words. Whenever we say waste, that means solid waste and, MSW and C&D, so it's not like repeat it through the document.
You can't do this, waste. Whenever we
Right.
say waste, it means solid.
Yeah,
Exactly, that's, that's like what a real lawyer would do.
Yes.
They put the definition up front.
Heretofore
Yes,
known as,
yes,
yeah.
yeah, right.
yeah, okay. That would help a lot with verbiage.
Yeah.
The town owns and has available an approximately 2-acre site at its transfer station that could be leased by the town. Yeah, to a qualified vendor in support of achieving this result. Is that about right? We have
Okay.
2 acres that
Probably
we
about
could
right.
spare for a.
Yep.
Them to
Could be a little more.
Yeah, that's,
approximately
Yeah, we're
2
talking
acre.
2 to 3 acres, but let's tell them 2.
Expand a little 6 and you get rid of the dump.
Exactly.
So we've told them what we're looking for, we've told them how we handle it now.
And we're telling how we're willing to help.
And we're saying what we have for acreage to
Mhm,
put something on.
right.
That's our purpose.
Hmm.
Background information, the transfer station is open 4 days per week for collection. And a collection of what sort of seems open.
Mhm,
So USA is open is currently open
Yes,
for
right,
4 days.
yeah.
And
Cause
then for municipal solid
it
waste,
could,
I guess.
that could change.
For disposals, I guess, or whatever, with the, the term there.
And a total of 200 days per year. What is it, 200 days based on? A holiday,
Or-
4 days of,
Weekend
or-
4 days of.
4 days work week.
Yeah, 4 days per week or 200 days per year. Yeah.
Mhm.
The transfer station has processed amounts of MSW, and we can just say
Sandy.
solid waste. We can bring it right down to solid waste.
Wait, again, take the term.
Up there,
Yeah,
Yeah.
From 2023 to 2025 is noted in table 1. Okay. Town residents are requested to recycle by separating plastics, glass, metals, and corrugated cardboard. That's,
yeah.
you'll call it waste. That sounded real awful.
No, hey, I'm glad we got an expert here, you know what I mean?
MSW is delivered to the transfer station by residents. We're gonna tell them how it's delivered.
Our residents and callers.
And yeah, and haulers, exactly. Commercial haulers? Be more defining.
Well, but there's also, residents do.
Yeah, residents and commercial haulers
Yeah.
for compacting is not sorted, and I'm not, I think that's a distinction.
Okay, well, I think we need to say that's hollers, or else it looks like the first sentence is
Yeah, it does.
contradicted by the second
Okay,
sentence.
so town residents are requested to recycle MSW,
Yeah.
Delivered by,
Yeah, you just put it
transportation
together.
by haulers or somehow, whatever they're called.
But what I was trying to, I think and this is my wording exactly, but we're trying to say that recycles are sorted, to a great extent. But the construction waste is not sorted at all.
Well, the haulers don't sort either.
Yeah, but
Mm.
the recycling is sorted, that's what I was trying to.
Not by the homes,
Right,
not right now.
right.
Right, but the residents do recycling, and that I think in this proposal, that should be known. The residents do recycling, others don't. And maybe that's the expression, but that's what I was trying to get across, yeah.
Because, yeah,
So for now, we have, MSW delivered to the transfer station by residents and commercial haulers for compacting is not sorted. And C and D also is not sorted, but it is, shingles are coming out.
Yeah,
So that would be an exception. The shingles are separated out to the back.
Okay.
So we've
that's
gotta
good.
add that back in.
That's good information, yes, they, we need to just tell them what the current handling process is.
Mhm.
And this can
So I have
always
an
change, I mean, if the proposal comes in with a different way of doing things, this could
Yeah,
change.
cause we
Right,
need definitions of what they mean by construction debris, because we
Okay.
don't know if they can
You know,
take it all.
That's probably, there should be a definition section of this thing where
I agree.
everything is defined.
Yep.
And this way it
Agreed.
makes it a lot easier to read.
that has to be upfront, so.
You're right, so as you're reading it, you know what everything relates to. Yeah, I mean, I hate to, I mean, I don't have anything against lawyers, but, sometimes it's just.
Oh, perfect, clear.
Yeah,
Clear as kind.
clarification.
The transfer station also contains a closed landfill with surface venting for the release of methane gas. That's really, is that the correct way to put that?
I guess that would be good, yeah.
I guess that's right.
That's right.
Yeah, good job.
Thank you, couple.
You got a copy there.
Okay,
And then we go on to municipal contact information. The town of Ashland's primary contact for this proposal is the town manager, Ron Beard. Direct submissions and any inquiries,
to the town manager.
something to the town.
Okay,
You gotta put a word in there.
So, direct
Direct submission.
submissions and any.
Oh,
inquiries to the
direct
town manager.
submissions.
Right, that's a.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Right, proposal submission. Proposals will be accepted up to the end of business on blah, blah, blah. We decide.
Yeah, that'll be decided when I can find a select board.
Like, really,
how long do you think it should be out? Once it's supposed to be?
what's a typical 30 days,
It might be
60 days?
30.
What kind of time do we have? Well, we're
Yeah.
already knocking on November.
What time do we have? It's gonna come down to, so it's knocking on November. I would think we have to have these in by the end of the year, so it really depends when we get the
Well, we're
approval.
back to, well, if it's approval, we have to get final doc, what the figure is, the final document, that the board's gotta approve it, and then,
So,
take 30 to, but once it goes out, maybe 30 days.
And we have our data, we just added the things that could potentially go into this system as far as the fiber and paper, your cardboard and mixed paper. Tires, we don't know about whether that would be regulated by the state, whether they would approve that. I am thinking not, because they don't even allow them in the big incinerators.
yeah, so, but yeah,
Glass, they probably don't want, because that will not break down. It'll become just, call it, the,
yeah, yeah.
um,
Well, it's just, we're informed. Just-
Yeah,
tell
this is what-
tell
yeah.
us what you need.
but we took out some of the other materials. Does that matter? Electronics, scrap metal. I mean, we didn't,
You didn't include that.
yeah,
I
We
think
did.
they want some of that stuff,
yeah, it
from
was,
what I've
I
heard.
think it just came out of it was all here.
Really? Okay, I must have got.
That was our, it became really big,
Oh, okay.
but that's the complete
Okay,
picture,
all
so
right,
we'll have a complete
okay,
picture.
Complete picture back, yeah, as long as we have reliable data.
And then the data notes, I would just add the data from the town of Ashland annual reports, which are fantastic. Love annual reports. And the New Hampshire DES one stop, because a lot of that verification.
Yeah.
Some things not calculated or just, again, it's either the glass didn't go out in 2023, or plastics weren't shipped, or it went through another,
Yeah, oh, we just don't know. Okay.
Now, it says daily average that we used is based on transfer station operating 300 days per year.
Yeah, so they wanna change that to 365 perhaps, or
Wait
whatever.
a minute,
Wait a
That-
minute,
We operate 200.
Here, yeah,
exactly,
So-
we have two different members there.
what are, we
All-
operate
all- all we-
now,
All we need is a number. If this is an average for 300 days, we can figure out if they want 365, they'll just adjust the number.
But, okay, on the page before though, we were talking about.
200 days we
200
currently
days.
operate. That's just that we currently operate 200. I don't know where the 300 came from as a, I think somebody kind of just said, well, let's spend it to 5 days a week or 6, whatever. Or you could recalculate it based on 365, which I think is probably the number they're looking for. But they could do that too.
But this is gonna throw your average off. If you're only open 200 hours, say you.
yeah, but they wanna run a facility
Right.
in theory.
7 by
But-
24.
But our proposal in this chart,
Yep.
we don't care. We wanna give them a snapshot of what we're doing now, right?
Agreed. I don't think that we should be telling them how many days they're open.
Right.
We should just be giving them the
that-
tonnage.
Right,
and let
give them
them
the tonnage,
figure it
you
out.
divide by, if you want
Right.
365, you divide by 365, you get. an
Take the
average.
daily average out.
I
Yeah.
would take number 4 out, yeah, because that's just confusing.
And
Okay.
take this
That's
out
a
of
good
here.
point. Good point, John, yeah.
Give them what we
Bringing that up.
know,
Right.
Yeah,
what we're estimating for
Yep.
2025 based on.
yeah.
Are you comfortable with that 3% increase?
Or
Or from 2024 to 2025 estimates?
for the,
It's the tonnage.
it's probably not gonna go up more than that. Like, it's,
I think I'd be
It's a
comfortable
I'd be
with that
comfortable.
too.
Good ballpark.
Okay, cool. Alright, so we'll get rid of that. Makes it cleaner. Then we're into kind of the nitty gritty, the scope of work and services.
Now, I'll just say I took what I thought was generic and relevant, and I eliminated some of the ones that I think were just overly specific.
Okay, the vendor will provide a zero or approximately zero cost proposal to eliminate the municipal solid waste, MSW and construction debris. We'll
Yeah, just to make.
figure that all out. Produced by the residents of the town of, produced by the town of Ashland, New Hampshire. I don't think we need to say specifically resident.
Yeah.
All of, all or a portion of the recycled materials can be included in this process. You go with that?
It's open.
Or you keep
It's
it
open.
open? A process site plan is required.
Proposed site-
Proposed site plan is required. The vendor will provide the operating specifications for the waste elimination process. I think we need to deal with this elimination because we're using it throughout.
Well, I tried to just use it throughout,
Mm.
make it the,
But it's not a
Pro-
solid, it sounds to me like it's not a waste industry term.
Mm-mm.
So that would be confusing because you've got waste energy, waste people.
and I read it the opposite. It is not a common term. Neither is this a common request for proposal, okay? That's what, that's where I made that decision to do that switch, because I said, you know what? I don't want them to think that this is an industry standard RFP, okay? This is something different, and I think it needed a word, maybe that's not the right word, you tell me, you guys are probably better at words than I am. But I wanted to differentiate it so that some person picks this up and reads and says, oh, I'm not reading a standard waste management RFP. That these guys are looking for something different. Okay, that was what I tried to get at.
And processing doesn't, because it's processing the waste.
Yeah, waste processing. Waste processing and waste elimination, they're not the same thing.
But we're not eliminating.
How about-
Because-
What isn't getting
Processing and removal. Processing or
Management.
removal.
What's not getting eliminated?
Well, it's dense, it's bringing it down to a,
Yeah, and then that gets eliminated. So I mean, it really, we're looking, I don't want anything left over from the process. I don't want something.
yeah, it's
that-
all
that-
going in
Yeah, it's
theory
all going.
away.
And that's the only word that really captured that in my mind, and I hate to get tied up into words, but was saying elimination, because it's gotta be gone. That's what we're asking them to do. Make it gone.
Disposal would be the word.
Well, okay, you pick your word. I'm.
Waste management, processing and disposal.
Okay, Yeah, you
solid
know,
waste
I'm not gonna
management,
argue.
processing and disposal.
And then let's never discuss this again.
Yeah.
Ever.
That is a good point.
So the waste disposal, so it would change to provide the operating specifications for the waste disposal process.
Yeah.
Disposing, okay,
How about?
I like that.
better. Perform all project management, including any required installation, startup, and or testing.
About permitting.
Oh,
That gets to the next one.
Work with the town of Ashland, the federal environment, we don't have to say federal, we know this, right?
Wow.
Environmental Protection
Yeah.
Agency, EPA. The New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services, NHDS, and the New Hampshire Department of Energy. Do they have an acronym, NH?
Yeah, I didn't know it,
D.
so, yeah, I didn't use it. I'm gonna say DE,
DE.
but not sure.
DOE?
Yeah.
DOE,
DOE.
Yeah, that's it.
that's it.
Department of Energy. Yeah.
Gotcha. As required for validation and permitting of the recommended waste disposal process.
I don't know, I kinda like elimination. Okay. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Oh, you're glad.
You're too far to kick under the table.
You gotta go down.
You hear that, Hootie? We gotta go. Din.
As required for validation, I don't even think we need that for permanent. Right?
As required.
Well, I think, you know, the people seem to be interested in a little bit more than just they got a permit, okay? I think at some point, you know, these agencies have to step in and say, yeah, what you're doing is, oh, we're okay with it.
But do they do that? Will they do that?
I
They'll
think
have
that-
to do
I
it.
think
Well,
the DES
the
will do that.
permit, that you're okay, but that doesn't affect.
I think DES will do that. They kind of get intimately involved in this kind of stuff.
Especially if it has to do with greenhouse.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, so that's why I put the word in there.
New solid waste plan.
Really, we're saying we want their endorsement. If they come and say, well, you know, it passes the permitting process and but you know what, I don't think this is a good idea. You know, I don't think we
Maybe
wanna hear
endorsement
that.
is a better word.
Endorsement, well, nah, I don't know they'll go that far.
Yeah.
Okay, see that?
No,
I know, I don't care.
Ooh,
no,
It's becoming an
Okay.
English lesson here, but.
that might never happen.
Right, yeah, I don't think they
Might get
endorse
eliminated.
anything.
Right. You eliminate your elimination.
Okay.
Well, we're gonna keep it as such. Specify a recommended capacity for the waste disposal process.
What does that
Recommended
mean?
capacity, talk to me. What does that mean? Recommended capacity. So you're asking how much they need
Yeah,
to
what,
run this?
yeah, what size? You know, what can they handle in terms of elimination? How much capacity can they handle? One, we wanna be sure they can handle our capacity, but if they're gonna do something more than that, they need to tell us about it.
Can we just add tonnage capacity?
If you like it.
Waste.
Can we take recommended out, or by who's recommending what to whom? Do we wanna leave the recommended in there?
Which was, you were saying,
The recommended capacity.
Specify a,
okay, just for clarification here, this is open-ended because we cannot necessarily in this proposal restrict the vendor to our capacity of the tonnage that we generate. Because that makes, as a business proposal, it makes it impossible to offer it us to zero. The heart of this proposal is that they will create something with capacity beyond what it takes to process our waste. And they can use that profitably. And that profit is what's going to allow them to give us the service for free. That's the essence of this negotiation, if we can establish it. Okay? And so that's why we can't specify to them the capacity, although we could, you know, if it's excessive, we could say, we don't want that. Okay, but they have to come in with something that is reasonable and we can live with and meets the goal. You guys get free waste disposal and we get X amount of tons to play with to make money. Okay,
think tonnage capacity adds.
whatever
Yeah.
word you like, Bonnie, I'm
Okay,
not gonna
All right.
argue with an expert.
1, 2, we're on 3. Woo-hoo. Page. The waste elimination process can use gasification or a combination of gasification and pyrolysis.
I don't even know what that is, but Frank knows, so that's why it's in there.
Other processes can be proposed by the vendor. However, incineration is not an acceptable waste elimination process for the purposes of this proposal.
Okay, can I ask that question? Why? Cause I can see that being asked why. Do we
Because
have
the
a-
town already said no.
Okay. No means no.
So
Okay.
I'm just gonna jump in before you finish this paragraph and suggest that why don't we just shorten this to a single sentence that says incineration is not an acceptable waste elimination process? Why do we have all the other stuff here? I mean, it seems to me that's getting inside the black box.
Yeah, and you're right. I had that thought, that it was in there and I didn't have a good enough reason just to pull it out, but I don't know that it helps us with anything, although maybe it gives some ideas to the vendor that says, look, we'll look at these processes, if that's what you have in mind, okay, but not incineration. That's kind of how I structured that.
You
I
could
got
say
a
it can include
Yeah,
gasification.
Okay, I got a
right.
Yep.
question.
But I mean, why do we say gasification? Why don't we say, I don't know, hanging up on a clothesline or, whatever?
Yeah,
Why do we include things?
Specific?
Because we think, and I think as Frank submitted this, probably he thinks, and I think he's right, that these processes will be important to the conversation.
I don't disagree with that.
The only other way
But,
you could get rid of it is the plasma arc.
But I mean, but again, I
That's
think
the
we're
other
getting
option.
into the black box here. And, we're looking for a proposal that does A, B, and C.
Yes, and I guess I would just argue back the point that we want to give them some sense of what is going to be accepted in the proposal. I don't wanna make it such a black box that they have, that the only thing they can think of is a fire-eating dragon, because,
It's already been thought of.
everything else
But
is
do you
off
wanna
the.
put on there like, you don't want it landfill? Cause if you send this to Casella,
Right,
and
there's gonna
they're
be
gonna say,
landfill.
okay, well, just landfill it.
That was my point with waste management or Casella,
If-
because
if-
that's all they have in place.
If they take our stuff and they'll landfill it for zero,
But
and they have a
we-
landfill, what, do we care?
Well, it's just as bad as my mind is.
Some of the other things, yeah. Well,
Gets off so much.
it's not the process we want, and it's not likely we'll get it for zero. So, we're arguing a point here that it's never gonna happen. Nobody's gonna come by and say, I'll give you zero for
No, they're
landfill,
not.
okay? So. Let's not get theoretical about it.
But they could do that, but somebody could say, hey, I wanna build a
And,
plasma arc plant near,
something I think we'd wanna learn about here.
so.
But I don't restrict it to this. It says, can use, a combination of gasification and pyrolysis. And other processes can be proposed by
Yeah,
the
there's
vendor.
4 methods to get rid of
Yeah.
trash right now: landfilling,
Right,
incineration, gasification, and plasma arc.
yeah. And it said other processes
about
can
it.
be proposed.
And dump it in the ocean.
Only for New York.
John, did you have a thought?
No, I was, the gasification pyrolysis,
Paralysis, yeah.
what's the difference between that and incineration? Do these other methods include some type of heat generating
The
process?
Dynamis process is the
It's fire,
gasification
yeah.
process.
So you need to heat the garbage up to a certain degree to get the gasification in there. It's not technically incineration, but it's pretty close.
I guess the answer to the question, my understanding, and I'll play an expert here, but that gasification process has a lower emissions threshold than.
So they capture all of it.
Yeah, okay.
It's not a
that,
smokestack per se,
right,
Well,
that's
they
the
read the
justification.
but not a big 300 foot smokestack.
Right, it reduces
Yeah.
The
the,
heat.
Yeah,
Heat has to
because
go
the-
somewhere.
right.
It's only
Saving
about,
all the emissions.
it's only about 30 feet.
Yeah.
Okay, then we just,
Yeah.
Those good questions.
So should we add that plasma arc technology?
Look, no, other processes can be proposed. I think that covers it, we didn't close the door, but, I think we're pointing them towards, gasification is probably what you wanna be thinking about.
Other processes can be produced by the vendor. However, incineration is not an acceptable waste elimination process for the purposes of this proposal. We're still okay with that? Be very clear, incineration is not, okay.
Yeah, I think that we have to go with that. That's just not something we wanna consider.
And then it says the waste management process, again, do we put disposal there? Waste management is a common term, but are we switching terms?
Whatever you want there, Bonnie, that's what goes.
You sound like my husband.
That's
Wow,
right.
I haven't.
I know when I'm
You
done.
guys married?
Oh,
Sorry.
You see the way she looked at him? No way.
Scared.
No
Scared.
way.
Anyway.
Oh, don't frighten us, my goodness.
Waste disposal process, and if we find something better, we'll certainly adjust. Can consist of a primary module to process or gasify the waste and a secondary unit to process any effluent gas generated by the primary waste process. Do we need that, where we've just said,
No.
you tell us how you're gonna do it?
Right, and that was my thought, but Frank put that in there and I didn't have a good enough reason to take it out, so. I left it there, but I think it does lock in a thing a little bit, but then at the same time, it's how gasification really is gonna work, so.
And
We
it
don't
says-
have to explain that
Yeah,
to them.
yeah.
But it
they
does
know.
say can, it doesn't say
Right,
must,
right,
so, you know,
exactly.
like,
So-
so,
Yeah,
Keep-
there's nothing wrong with it.
Keith,
Yeah, I would keep it.
the process must provide a method of converting any generated effluent gases such as syngas. Converting any generated effluent gases such as syngas.
to what?
Yeah, there goes on, method could include the generation of steam by burning the syngas or processing of the syngas for use in other applications, so
That's
you.
kind of an incomplete sentence.
It's an incomplete thought.
Yeah,
The
Yeah,
process
'cause
must
it
provide
could-
a method of converting any generated effluent gases.
converting gases. What?
Yeah, that's just a wording thing.
Well, I don't know, the process must provide a method of converting any generated effluent gases such as syngas. Oh,
Well,
that's a sentence.
just leave off such as syngas.
Oh, and that works too. But
Well-
such as syngas, not wrong, I mean, for example.
Well, then you don't have an incomplete thought.
Yeah, we just think converting something into something else. You know what I mean?
Being converted,
No, Yeah,
to something awful.
Converted in place.
okay.
So,
Bonnie, smooth it out to your liking. Yeah, and I don't, however you express that's gonna work.
This method can include the generation of steam by burning the syngas or processing of the syngas for use in other applications. Does that cover our producing electricity?
Yeah, exactly.
When it says can, doesn't mean it doesn't.
Yeah,
have to.
this,
But these are,
offering some, something to think about when you come back and give us your proposal.
in other words, we would entertain something like this.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do. Don't make this so, well, we want it for nothing, but we're not gonna tell you what we accept. We kind of give you some hints here.
The vendor will calculate and specify what utilities are required for the waste disposal process, such as electric power. Yeah, cause this could use, we have 3-phase power at the transfer station. This could use a lot of electricity.
It could.
Who the heck's paying for that?
It's zero cost to us. So if they consume electricity,
they'll make their own electricity to power the plant.
there you go, they may do that too, but either way, that whatever the revenue comes into them, they're gonna cover the cost. I mean, that's in the zero cost. We're not firing up the thing for them.
Okay, so.
But it says the
The
vendor,
vendor will calculate and specify what utilities are required for the waste disposal process, such as electrical power, natural gas, air, water, and sewer. The vendor can request utilities be provided by the town of Ashland in support of their proposal.
do we have natural gas?
No,
No.
So cross that out.
Yeah, right, propane is really.
Right,
good there,
so
yes.
now we don't have
But,
natural.
Some kind of natural gas, absolutely.
Take it out.
or propane, or gas, I'll take it out, yes.
Air,
Yeah, we don't do that there, so we don't have.
air,
Yeah,
water,
no.
sewer, we don't do there.
We don't do it.
Air, water and sewer, how do those,
Air,
such as, well, yeah, they need air to run.
Yeah, we'll
Do
give
they need
air.
water?
They want
Do
air.
they, sewer, we don't.
It may be compressed air to operate air valves and stuff.
in fact, there's no sewer there.
So they're not getting that.
No sewer, so,
There's no sewer, even though it's close.
so cross out sewer. Yeah.
Someday.
There's no sewer line on College Street.
All right.
The vendor can request utilities be provided. That sounds like we're willing to pay for.
Right, right.
It's we're willing to facilitate certain utilities, I was thinking,
Make available to purchase.
Yeah, we
make
can,
them available, that's right.
we can extend utilities to where they need them, but then.
I wanna say, if you need something, we'll figure out a way to get it to you. You'll pay for it, but we'll get it to you.
Yeah,
Because this
they
sounds,
could.
Yeah.
this sounds like we're providing it for free, so. we
It
can
does.
do that.
That.
Just put at vendor cost.
Supportive.
Yeah, we don't wanna lead them that we're gonna
That-
give them
that works.
utilities. to
No,
operate.
that's what I'm saying.
Gonna
I
give
bet
them
if we
the-
change provided to available, I think it
And it
That's
still
all.
sounds like you're just gonna hand it to them.
vendor can request utilities be available.
Why not be provided at vendor cost?
Yeah,
Fine.
vendor cost,
Yeah,
that,
I like
that
that.
means
They're
not
better.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
We make everybody pay for that.
There you go, okay.
Put down some water.
Makes it clear.
Yep. The vendor will recommend the best method of operating the waste disposal process to achieve the required operational efficiency while processing the daily waste tonnage.
Yeah, do we need it? I don't know.
That's what we're asking.
What was that again?
The vendor will recommend the best method of operating the waste disposal process to achieve the required operational efficiency while processing the daily waste
That
tonnage.
sounds like we're.
That's what we're,
Now,
asking.
here's, I'm trying to make that point, and I don't know if this is my verbiage or Frank's, but I think the point to be made here is that they need to determine how to operate this process, whatever it is, so that they're making revenue to offset the cost of what is being incurred by processing our waste. And again, I didn't have a more direct way that I wanted to put this, but that kind of gives the clue that if you can use some of this facility to generate revenue for yourself, and that's the reason you can provide it to us for zero cost, we might be okay with that.
so cost effective may be somewhere in there.
Okay.
Recommend the most cost effective method?
Well, really, I wanna say that allows the vendor to successfully provide the services requested, meaning that they can generate revenue from the process to cover their costs. I don't know how you wanna word that exactly, but that's the essence of this negotiation. Okay,
But on our end, we don't wanna have piles and piles of trash waiting to get processed.
No, you don't.
So really, maybe something in this should be, the vendor will recommend the best method of operating the waste processing process to achieve the required operational efficiency, while as to not be
and
storing.
revenue generation.
Yeah,
And there's a point on that, again, Frank made a good point on, you gotta tell us how much of this stuff you can store offline while you're consuming it.
right.
Yeah, and that's in here.
Yeah, we just don't want amounts of trash
Right.
waiting to be
That's,
processed.
yeah, that,
You know what I
that's a
mean?
good point, it's specifically in here when you go down a little further. Okay.
Cause
you
it's pretty
okay
clean
with
down
that?
there now.
Yeah, you okay with that?
We don't
Lynn?
want it to go
Bonnie?
backwards.
Yeah, I think we need something
Okay.
there to explain that, because I mean, it's fluctuates. You know, after Christmas, the whole world shows up. You gotta be able to process more material more
Yeah.
efficiently.
Mhm.
But then you have your downtimes too. You know,
There's
the
gonna
flow
be
Yeah.
times.
breakdowns.
Yep.
Planned
Whether,
maintenance that they have to do.
Hook up to
Backup
electrical.
generation.
Wheeling may be an issue here. that-
Well, like we have to have our trash hauled out at least once a week.
Mhm. But
The facility, so-
if they're gonna generate some, if there's some sort of electrical generation from the syngas, they're gonna need wheeling to get it out to the.
Right, but I mean, if something breaks down, how do, we gotta
That's the
make sure
backup
that we
plan.
can still get rid of our trash on a weekly basis at least.
Yeah, that's, and
Whether they contract someone to haul it, or they take it off site, or we
Yeah,
provide them a site.
yeah, but we can, when we
I
get
mean,
to
you
that,
know-
when we get that piece about the waste storage, then we should add that verbiage that just says,
Yeah.
you have to guarantee no more than a week, 4 days, whatever, whatever makes sense, okay?
Yeah, next X amount of tons. That's very.
All right, we'll get to that point, and we'll put that in.
The vendor will specify an operating schedule and the staffing to process the anticipated 2025, but probably not gonna be 25. Waste as indicated in table 1.
So
And,
With-
but I would just say annual waste.
Yeah, annual or
Yeah.
average.
And-
wage.
There you go.
I question with the vendor recommending the best operating and waste management process and required staffing, because what you're saying is they're gonna run it. We're not gonna hire people to do it, they're going to do it. Or is that what we're saying, or we don't know?
We don't know,
Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
we don't know.
okay, all right. That makes sense then.
And last sentence in that part, the vendor will provide an operational routine maintenance and expedited support for the recommended process.
Yeah, all the maintenance is on them, and expedited support means emergency
Yeah.
responses, wording. But yeah, in other words, something happened, they're on it. They may not have a full-time person there, depending on how this all plays out, okay, but they have to provide the oversight on their part. And they will coordinate that with our town management. And their person who will respond to any process, fault.
So are you thinking that we might have town people working at this facility?
I think, we have people there who know what they're doing,
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
and I think that's valuable. Now, how that gets paid for, or, just how that gets taken care of, or
You want it to be open,
it's open-ended,
okay,
but
all
that's certainly on the table. That has to be part of the proposal,
Yeah.
know?
okay.
Okay, we're on to proposal requirements and format. Vendors interested in being considered for this project must submit a proposal as detailed in this section in response to the circumstances described in, this sounds legal. Section B, scope of
Frank could have
work,
been a lawyer. He says he's an engineer, but
scope
I
of
think he
work
should have
and
been a lawyer.
services. Okay, that's what that's called. Proposals must be received at the Ashland Municipal, is that what it's called? Municipal building? Town office? Town hall. Marked attention, town of Ashland. Solid waste management processing, that's really long.
Did you have an address in there?
I think that
Yeah,
would
I-
be at the end.
Yeah, something at the end or whatever.
Where the address.
I don't know if we want a proposal if somebody can't find the town offices or figure out how to communicate with them. That might be disqualifying.
We might get mailed in proposals, or you won't get.
Yeah,
an
that's
address.
Okay.
Town of Ashland.
Yeah, we put it at the end.
Put it-
Most of them are emailed now. or for
Yeah,
the
well,
deadline.
contact,
Yeah.
methods. but-
Yeah, we'll have that.
Yeah, put the town
Yeah, you
email,
can't have too
whatever.
much info in there.
Mailing, whatever.
Yeah, all
Yeah.
of that, okay. The objective of the competitive process is to objectively select the firm that will provide reliable and minimum cost services.
Minimal should have been. that would
I
be a
think
better
that's
word.
correct. Process description requirements. The vendor will provide the following descriptive information in their proposal. Description of the proposed waste management process. Look at that. And equipment,
I guess I
including
missed that.
diagrams and photos required to explain the operation of their proposed process. I like diagrams and photos.
Mhm.
Design process for the waste management process,
Design basis. The weird thing.
design basis for the waste management process capacity, including the category and tonnage of the Ashland waste and recycled tonnage that can be processed by the waste management facility. The operating assumptions must be defined, including the total number of operating days per year and the daily hours of operation. Is that a good place to put in, the definition of material accepted? Because we don't know what they can take as far as the construction debris.
Well, let's read through these, and if it doesn't
Okay.
hit it, then can add it
All right.
at the end. I think.
3, description of the safety and handling risks for the proposed process and the safety systems. Just 4, description of how generated effluent gases such as syngas will be processed, or the options that can be used such as generation of steam and electrical power or production of other materials. And the other materials would be ash and some removal of the scrap metals, from what I understand, after it's been processed. 5, list of any requirements of how waste must be delivered to the facility. Or how various types of waste and recycled material must be loaded into the process equipment. Waste must be delivered to the facility, and that's a good statement because we're compacting our waste now. We have tons of compacted waste. I assume, and I don't know, and it's a good question for Matt or anybody who's in this, can they handle compacted waste? I assume it's gotta be fluffy and it's gotta
Well,
be not
you're gonna dump
not-
it into a,
compacted,
yeah,
so
well,
it'd be an open,
it would be an option
bunker.
just to dump it into a,
right? Or a bunker that
they may
covered
require
bunker.
that. But they probably would dump it into a hole or something. Bump it up.
Okay.
6 is the one that
Six.
Ron brought up, aging.
Any requirements for staging or waste storage areas to support the proposed operation of the waste disposal process? Yeah, we need to
And
know
the
how,
capacity of the storage to, smooth out any fluctuations in the production process.
I think that covers it. 7, a preliminary site plan showing the facility footprint at the transfer station site location. Okay. Cost requirements, the following costs in their entirety will be the responsibility of the vendor. Oh, we didn't talk about
Yeah, you made the point you wanted to make here.
yeah, the materials, description of materials that can be accepted.
Yeah, good, that's a good.
It up in there.
Good.
I mean, can they take those shingles and burn them or process them?
Yeah, that's important.
You talking about roofing shingles?
Right now it gets processed into gravel. They grind them up with ledge pack and the state allows them to do that. We can use it on roads.
This is good. Asphalt like roads.
They keep taking on nails stuff.
Okay, number 4, and that's only 5. Cost requirement. Again, the following cost in their entirety will be the responsibility of the vendor unless specifically agreed otherwise by the town of Ashland. 1, cost for the engineering and construction drawings for architectural, mechanical, electrical, and environmental and site plan. Cost for the engineering. Okay. Environmental. Oh, I think we just have an extra and.
Okay. Yeah.
That seemed to cover everything, architectural, mechanical, electrical, environmental. Site plan. Estimated, 2, estimated cost for facility, environmental and construction permitting.
Why estimated?
Oh, yeah.
Cost, just cost, right?
Of course, yes, that was in the old.
Yep. 3, cost of the waste disposal process.
Equipment.
equipment and utilities, including the recommended processing of effluent gases. Or cost of any proposed waste management facilities, including site work, facility construction, process equipment, erection and connection. All process electrical, all process electrical work. I think we're missing something in there. And utility connection, oh. All right, just a semicolon. All process electrical work and utility connections and all process and utility plumbing and connections. I'm lost on what the
Process.
process is.
I
Oh,
just
the
say all
process,
electrical work, all
Yeah.
electrical work, all utility connections and all utility connections and all and.
It seems overly wordy.
yeah, I think it's just taking out the,
Yeah.
because then we know it's the process.
Right. Wordy.
Yeah, but you wanna make sure that they know they're paying for all of this stuff, so. Trying to take it all right.
The cost for, 5, costs for startup, debug and acceptance of the facility. Yeah. 6, proposed staffing for the operation of the facility. Cost for the vendor or a third party to operate the waste management facility. 7, cost for vendor project management and facility construction management. That's not already up there.
Yeah, well, maybe.
Cost of proposed waste
Makes
management,
it a little
But
specific.
this is,
clearer.
yeah, it's what they gotta pay, yeah.
And then the final on that is 8, cost for annual waste management process support.
What does that mean?
No idea.
Okay.
Yeah,
I just-
is there extra support, say in staffing or whatever that? Is this covered there?
Yeah, yeah, is there ongoing engineering requirement, I guess is, yeah, is there change management, you know, how do things change if necessary?
We could just say ongoing waste management process
Maintenance.
Yeah.
support.
Correct.
They'll have to maintain their permits. Which is
Yeah.
part of the cost.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah,
You know?
yeah, there's some back office stuff here that, you know, has to happen.
And they're responsible for doing it
Yeah.
and paying for it.
Can I just add that permit maintenance?
So that's a
there?
good point, going back to the permitting, permitting,
We did, we made
Yeah.
a comment there.
but not under costs.
No, it's not.
Well, it should be, did we say ongoing permitting?
Cause then they may be required to put in the test wells or whatever and make sure their process is.
Yeah, it's not contaminating
Right.
anything. Yeah, I'm sure there's an ongoing
Yeah.
process there. That's actually, it's a good point.
So why don't I just add 9 as cost of
Any-
ongoing permit?
Ongoing permits
permit.
and regulatory compliance.
Yes.
That's a good word.
That's a good line.
You're hired.
That's that. that could be-
Regulatory compliance, is that?
Mhm.
Yep.
Good one.
The 2 new guys on the team coming up big.
Swing better.
Staff
Me and
meetings
coach.
the other night.
Okay, all right, then we're on to other proposal requirements. The vendor will provide the following information or statements in addition to the descriptive and cost data. 1, a list of the utilities and services that need to be provided by the town of Ashland for the installation and operation of the waste disposal process.
But
Yeah.
to be
John?
made available.
Yeah, not provided.
Be- Oh, thank you.
Right, yes.
Yeah, that was.
Good.
Or will be made available?
No, that,
That need
Need
to be made available.
Yeah, they can't have ever source supply and power, so.
2, a list of similar installations within the United States that are available for a visit by town of Ashland personnel.
Okay.
now, one of the changes I did make here is, I use the term a list of similar installations, not necessarily installations that they've performed. Okay, because of the uniqueness of the process. So, and I want to just make sure we all appreciate that distinction. we wanna know that the technology has the capability of doing what they represent it to do. But I don't, because we are in this very aggressive negotiation and it's a kind of a unique thing. I don't know how much we'll find in terms of, well, yeah, have you done it before? You know, we'll have to play that by ear.
Do we need to say, what do they call it, contiguous United States, so we're not going to?
Alaska.
Hawaii.
I don't,
Hawaii's all right.
what's wrong with Alaska?
Yeah, no.
I heard yeah, I've heard some of this technology was perfected in Afghanistan.
Interesting.
I don't wanna go to.
For,
No, I just wanna know it works.
Just provide me a Zoom link.
so we're good with
Yeah.
that, the way that's worded.
Mhm.
3, data that previous vendor installations meet the EPA requirements for air quality.
Yeah, that the technology has a record of being in compliance, that, you know, because that's one of the important considerations.
Well, that says vendor installations, but it could be installations of other systems. Do we want
Yes.
this systems?
Yeah, this is
Similar
saying,
technology,
this is saying
What's it
this
say?
particular vendor.
yeah, well,
It could be a vendor, but this vendor might do this or might have done others than the other.
Would you just say data from similar installations?
which were you reading?
Number
on?
3,
Oh,
we're on
oh,
other proposed.
okay, I'm sorry.
Yep,
Data that previous vendor installations meet the EPA requirements. Yeah, that might be, well,
do we want it? We want it to be that
we want it to be
specific, don't we?
compliant.
But
That's
then we're
similar
saying prior
yeah,
to
yeah,
that, we're
right,
willing to
data-
look at others.
from similar installations, not necessarily previous vendor installations. I think, right, because I think that's gonna be too restrictive.
Similar, so take
Yeah,
out
we
previous.
wanna know
vendor.
that the technology is viable. Okay?
Like
And
for
that-
like technology.
Yeah, and somebody has demonstrated the viability of it. I don't know that this vendor necessarily, and then he might surprise us. They, you know, any vendor might say, yeah, we do that. I don't know.
And then 4, a list of references for the operation of similar services as described in the RFP. Now, just the operation?
List of references for,
We do wanna know this vendor has done something successfully.
Yeah, but we're changing it from an installation to the operation
and why
of,
don't we say installation and operation, and then we can always
Yeah.
adjust, but that's our,
Yeah,
it was
that they built
installation and
operation.
the similar
Yeah.
services as described in the RFP.
right.
5, a certification, isn't it just certificate
Certificate of insurance.
of insurance for installation and construction, including the amount insured?
Are you gonna require a bond?
Yes,
That may be the line to put that
Do we
in.
need to
yes,
say
right,
that?
right there.
And how do we,
With sufficient bond provided to allow.
That's a New Hampshire requirement, right?
I don't think so.
Oh, well, yeah, it is.
Really?
Yeah, that's what he told us.
Oh, okay.
For this type of
Okay, yeah,
process.
So
so,
we can still put it in there though.
yeah, in other words, we wanna be held, you know, not liable. If this thing fails, we wanna code out and that we don't wanna pay for that either. Right.
so, do we put that there or have a
Yes.
different line?
No, line 6, you'd go on,
But we need to put down what the bond's gotta cover.
yeah.
We have to figure that
Well,
out.
that's to be determined on, based on the size of the land.
For
and
the
whatever.
complete removal and restoration of the site to the original conditions.
What about catastrophic incidents?
But that's under the insurance.
The
That's
insurance
not the
cover
part,
that.
insurance covers that.
For, yeah, an ecological mishap. Yeah.
Figure that out.
Always be worried, oh my god.
You're
Still,
good.
I still need dinner
So,
though.
all right, I need some help with that one. The town of Ashland requires a bond.
No, the vendor needs to provide a bond in an amount sufficient to disassemble and remove all facilities, whatever, equipment, facilities and equipment. And,
Upon what?
and restore the site to the original conditions.
Due to,
if, yes, due to failure of the process to live up to the specifications that were proposed.
I got to original condition, restored site to original condition if process.
If the process fails to meet the specifications as proposed.
The that was number 6, number 7, projected time in working days to complete the project.
Yeah, I guess we need a timeline, how long does this take? Permitting and whatnot.
8, requirements for an equipment.
How'd you get to 8? Oh, did you add?
Oh, I added, yeah, I
Okay,
added.
yeah, okay, I got it, yeah.
Sorry,
Okay.
so, 8 requirements for an equipment lay down area during construction, but then
It's just-
Space
You gotta
for-
stage equipment while it's built.
How much space do you need?
Yeah, you got.
Oh, I have, if I can back up just a little bit here.
Yeah.
I wanna go to the original number 6 here, projected time in working days to complete the project.
Mhm.
Two things on that. One, I think that's wholly dependent on permitting.
Mm,
And two, I don't like working days. What's a working day?
yeah,
You know, is that
Business
every
days.
Monday?
should we include projected time for permitting? Should we know that?
I don't know.
They
They're
probably,
not
they
gonna be
probably
able
won't
to
even
tell
know
us.
that.
Okay. Projected time to complete
Yeah,
the project?
right, just take the in working days, yeah. Take that up.
Simplification. And we're good with the lay down area, which I didn't understand, but.
Yeah, let's take the
Yeah,
same
they
area.
Okay. Okay, E, proposal format. This is where we would put all of where to put it to, right? The
Yeah.
proposal will follow the following format. We gotta work on that one.
Okay, I
Adhere
told you this was.
To the following, guys,
Yeah, adhere to the fall, yeah, that's right, we'll adhere to the fall.
Below format.
Follow this format.
well, all right, that's better. We got there.
You don't like redundancy? No.
No, not at all, not at all. 1, executive summary. 2, project scope statement describing the work to be undertaken per this RFP and any modifications or expansion of the scope of work provided in order to deliver the requested services. 3, your terms and conditions.
That's the
Can
important.
we just say terms and conditions? Do we have to say your?
That's the vendor's terms and conditions.
Yeah,
Vendors. Thank you.
Replace your.
Vendors,
Yeah, you're right, that's fine.
yeah.
But that's,
Seemed awkward,
yeah, that's an important, this negotiation, that's gonna be an important
okay.
paragraph.
And do we,
Do we want anything?
again, is that where we put the address, where it has to be
That's gonna
signed,
go.
or is that good down?
I think that's gonna be
Okay.
section
Do-
5.
Do we want, a number 4 that says what they expect from us?
Isn't that part of their terms and conditions?
That's terms and conditions,
You think
yeah,
so?
yeah.
Okay.
They're gonna tell us what they're, you know, they comply with everything we asked for, and they're gonna specify here, this is what you have to do.
Okay.
what
That's,
you have to
that's part of your back and forth negotiations.
Yeah, exactly, that's where that's gonna land.
4, bidder evaluation and selection. Final selection of the vendor will be at the discretion of the town of Ashland Board of Selectmen.
Okay.
Do we use select board? Or do we use Board of Selectmen?
I think it's the board of.
Either one.
BOS, Board of Selectmen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the official.
All right, the town of Ashland reserves the right to negotiate a contract with the vendor selected to perform the professional services proposed. The town of Ashland reserves the right to reject any and all responses submitted. That's key. Okay, we have to do the,
And then-
where is it going to be
Right.
sent, what the deadline,
Right.
where, deadline, you know, such a day at midnight. Can be
And-
emailed, and if it is, it must be a little, all that, yeah, all that stuff. Nobody wants to take this home and try to make a new.
Bonnie, thank you for that, that was an excellent review.
Thank you.
Oh, gosh, you guys are great.
Frank,
Guys, yeah, thanks for the bones of adding something like this.
Okay, now, that means you're going to make the adjustments?
Yes, yes, but you said something about definitions and I like that.
Yeah.
The wonderful sweet town of Freedom did an MSW, RFP. And then at the end, they have the definitions of what certain things were.
That would be great.
Would be great.
It's a much easier to word everything.
The term is right at the front. That is all. Keep that. Compliance with laws and. Liability insurance, we don't talk anything about insurance, do we?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did.
Did we give different requirements
Didn't break
with
it down.
that? Do we need to?
No.
Pretty sure they'll know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we should, we have minimum insurance requirements for vendors, right?
Certificate of insurance.
But it's gonna depend on their process and,
Yeah, you
Right.
can't really define that upfront, just that they've gotta be insured for whatever they're gonna do.
Full definition.
and
get it
Primex
added
is gonna
up.
review it anyway.
All right, we're good?
Oh, Peter, you're awesome.
Well, I'm no Andy Finch. Go. Bring it up.
Definitions.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, please. Okay. Really well.
Why not work
Amazing.
with other towns in Pemmy Baker District to have a joint
Okay.
disposal solution that may be more feasible with a larger amount of waste? I don't see any harm in talking to other Pemmy Baker districts.
It's their responsibility. That's an important point, Peter. They can, that should be passed on to the vendor, that, we have a vendor. And that's where they're gonna use that information to work together in order to meet their revenue requirements. So that is a really important point, but it's just a matter of, and my understanding is that, that should be the vendor responsibility. We don't get into marketing for them.
Should we put something in general, the general information that exists in in the paragraph, we talk about who we are and we're part of this organization, but we're just, I don't know, just putting,
In that,
yeah, right. Just that,
I don't know how to open it and make this an open-ended wording, because we're saying, give us zero cost and process our waste. Now, we're alluding to the fact that they can have additional capacity and they may process somebody else's things. But we don't wanna market it to them, because if they come up short, I don't want it to be our problem. Okay, so this, knowing, we could make this information available, that we're part of Pemmy Baker and there may be additional capacity from from surrounding neighborhoods, but then again, I don't even wanna go there. I don't wanna design their system and start working with them. That's something they gotta figure out.
Pemmy Baker is aware of everything we've done in the past and what we're doing now, and everybody up there is
Paying attention,
excited
paying attention.
that this could happen, and they might enjoy a lower cost and not increase cost.
Thank you for that.
So they keep asking me every time I go up to a meeting,
Yep.
how are you guys going? I'm like,
So
well,
yeah, I mean, maybe that's something that we.
so they're interested. They would provide a letter of support if we need
I mean, I think
Okay.
we would both,
from the 19th.
we would both benefit.
yeah, we might get better
Yeah.
or
But
more.
I just don't want the town of Ashland to be responsible for not meeting capacity requirements of
Yeah.
any vendor who makes this proposal. If they come up short with capacity and don't make money because of it, it's on them. We're not gonna go out knocking on doors trying to solicit waste.
Why is waste management a part of the RFP when the transfer center is doing such a good job? I don't even understand the question.
Why do we have to?
High cost of
Yes, that's the answer. Very good, Bonnie.
landfilling the waste.
That's right,
This point.
because of the cost we're incurring. We're not impugning the
No,
operation.
I think waste management should respond if they have something to offer.
But they wouldn't have any process
But
like this that.
Well, you don't care what the process
Right,
is.
right.
If they have a process that can meet our needs, we should.
Landfill,
I
right?
guess
We should
that's
make
what,
them aware of the
but I mean,
proposal.
I guess my point is if Casella or Waste Management has a lab in which they just created
Oh, that's-
another black box,
Oh, I
Let
wish,
them
I bet
respond
you
to the
they wish they
RFP.
did. We didn't talk about who we're sending this to.
Yeah, basically, we're gonna.
Are we gonna advertise it?
Don't-
Or-
Yeah, so
Yeah,
we're
we're
gonna
gonna
post
advertise.
it.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with picking out some of these prominent vendors and sending them a copy.
Is there a organization of waste people where you have newsletters where stuff like this is posted? You would know that, you know what I'm talking about, different types of industries.
Like a listserv that a
Listserv
lot
that
of,
services waste management,
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
they put it out on town works.
And then the last question, if I might, is it realistic to go for a warrant article in 2026? I would say maybe we make it, maybe we don't, but I say we definitely should try for it.
Oh, for 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's my.
I think that's,
2026.
I think 26 is pretty, aggressive.
Well,
Right.
okay, I mean.
But-
we
but
can-
I'm
we
not-
can
I'm
play
not saying
around
no,
until
but-
well,
2027.
the problem
I
is
mean,
27, when it pops up, is gonna be aggressive, you know, I
Right.
mean, that's when the cost, you know, comes.
Yeah, I know,
into-
no, I'm just saying.
What's
this
the
is-
downside in going for it?
Yeah, but we don't, but we want it done right, so.
If we get proposals, I mean, we don't have to sign off by warrant time, but we do need to ask the town, would you support a zero cost, you know, what's your word?
Waste disposal.
Waste disposal.
Which is still not
You
incredibly
know,
happy with, but.
Proposal
But-
from a vendor to offset the cost of.
That's always
waste
gonna give me
disposal.
yes and no if it's a zero cost, but we don't know if it's gonna be zero cost. That's
We
the
will,
problem.
we will be referencing the proposals. If no proposal comes in zero cost, then obviously we don't have that warrant article.
Right.
Okay, so this is on the assumption we get somebody who's going to play this game with us, if you will. All right, but I think we have to be targeted to getting something
You're ready
done
to go.
in the warrant article next year, because time is not our friend.
We do have to be careful, though, that we have enough time to do the marketing, because we will have to market this. If we.
We will
market
have
it.
to
People
market it.
want, I
Yes.
want people to understand. I wanna
Yeah.
be able to go down and talk to Henry and
Right.
Jackie and Shelley and say, this is what we've been talking about.
Yes.
I can't describe the Dynamis process. I can't do it.
Well, until we get a proposal from somebody, we can't describe anything, and
Right.
that's the
But we,
situation.
we do have to be able to have sufficient time to market it, because we don't wanna get a no. And if
Right.
people don't understand what we're doing, it'll be no.
A warrant article that turns up a no is no worse than not putting the warrant article
With,
in.
well, you have no, sometimes depending on how it's worded, no means no, so.
Well,
It's-
you know, we have to live with that.
Yeah, right.
Okay, if the town says, you know what, we wanna continue paying for our waste disposal, you know, stop this nonsense. Well,
And filling up the
good.
landfills.
yeah,
Right,
so I mean, you know,
but-
if that's where we are, that's where we are.
We just
Yeah,
wanna
I
make
think
sure
it's
we.
pretty simple, you know, and I think, you know, hopefully, now, again, I'm supposing we're gonna get a proposal, maybe we won't. But I'm hoping that, you know, this is gonna be pretty easy to digest. And we don't have to get involved in the details. I like the line, you know, you have to have a bond. If this doesn't work and you fail to meet the specifications you provided, you know, we're gonna call a truck and get that thing towed out. And we're no worse off than we are today.
All right, 7:28.
But before you blow the whistle,
Yeah.
what's the follow-up?
So. Take my scribbles
Yeah,
and
we do it.
I want you all to look at them.
Okay.
And then we wanna
We
get.
include Craig. on that.
Then remember, this is a special meeting.
Yeah.
The normal meeting is next Wednesday.
Yeah,
Right.
and Johnna's in charge.
Okay, so you won't be here, so that's fine. We have a vice chair that can handle it.
Yeah.
And so
So
the timeline I would propose is we get this thing amended, we pass it around again.
And if we can read it before we come
Yep.
to the meeting.
Yes,
Great.
that's right.
Yeah.
If we can.
Yeah.
That's right, and
we're
have
trying
it
to get
ready
by
for
the end
next
of the
week. And so next Wednesday, we have our meeting, we should be in a position to make a vote to recommend this to the select board. Which means we have a select board meeting, I believe it's Monday, so it'll be 2 weeks from Monday that we can offer the select board a consideration.
I'll give you my, vote before I step on Concord Coach.
Okay.
Oh,
You can
yes,
vote
that's right.
remotely.
You are, oh, man, I wanna go.
Okay, is that, so we agree that that's the timeline we're shooting at, and we'll be
Okay.
able to do that?
Okay.
And who do I send the updated to?
Well,
Just the committee
yeah.
itself?
Okay.
That's the committee
Good.
initially until we finalize
Okay.
it, and then we publish it to everybody.
should we start trying to make a vendor list since we want to go to one a short time? Do we have,
Why would we do that? Well, I
No.
thought we were just posting it, no?
we're
I
gonna
know,
post
gotta
it.
find out where to post
Well, we
it.
can post it, but if you have a vendor list,
Yeah.
make sure that people that you think would be, don't miss it.
Well, like NHMA would be one we posted on,
Yeah,
and we don't have to pay for that.
New Hampshire
Yeah,
Municipal
well, I
Association.
think the town manager can help us coordinate.
Yeah.
Right, how do we do, I mean, when I say
Well, I
vendor,
think our term is, this committee wants, after it's recommended by the select board, of course, you know, we want to see it published to the extent possible.
right, so it's, yeah, then that's really my point.
Yeah,
You know, how we're
but
gonna
it
put it out
happens
there.
at that point, till the select board approves this, then
Right,
we,
right.
we don't have anything
I mean, I
to
know
talk about.
of national magazines, but there aren't really any local waste.
Yeah, really.
There should be.
All right, so it's 7:30 now and Ron's about to turn off the recording.
All right.
We're done.
Thank you, thank you,
Yeah.
thank you. 2 hours,
Thank you.
really digging into this has been
Yeah, this
fantastic.
was a
Nice
work
job,
session.